Now, let's move on to Sudan, where a three-day ceasefire had been due to end in the next hour in what was widely viewed as the deadline for international rescues. The warning from our own Foreign Secretary was that getting British citizens out would potentially become impossible. But tonight, a further 72-hour extension to the fragile truce has been agreed, offering precious hope to those still stuck there, desperate to escape.
As if their departure from Khartoum has not been bad enough, evacuees being helped onto an RAF transport were boarding amid a desert rainstorm. It is clear in these images released by the Ministry of Defence that demand for a place on these flights remains very high. But as the Foreign Secretary noted today, time may be getting short.
We are saying to people that once that ceasefire elapses, and perhaps even before then, it is incredibly difficult for us to predict exactly what's going to happen. And so we are saying now is the best time to leave.
The ceasefire extension tonight means the air bridge may stay open a while yet, today bringing another plane load of those who've been able to make it to the desert airstrip of Wadi Sidna into Cyprus. The check-in to an onward charter flight to the UK is becoming almost routine. Many families, including young children and elderly relatives, barely pausing here before the next leg. Exhausting, but nothing to what they'd gone through this far.
How frightened were you?
Actually, to be honest, it was very difficult for me. Yeah, and if I said I was happy or I was secure, I will be truly dishonest.
Oh, it's very frightening. It's nightmare. It's really a nightmare. We have to go out. Nothing. No choice.
Did you worry that you may not get out?
Yeah, really we worried because we think that maybe when we are outside we can be shot.
Did they help you quickly enough?
Not quickly enough. Any process they do is very slow and very hard.
Are there lots of other people like you waiting to be evacuated?
I think now it's not like yesterday and the day before. Now it's a little bit lower.
There will be more departures like this from Cyprus today and then again tomorrow as more of today's evacuees are processed and got onto flights back to the UK. It's after that that people worry. Will the door have shut on future evacuations?
These are the ones who could get out of Khartoum and make it to help. Some, like Khalid Abu Ali, looking after elderly non-British parents, still cannot.
I'm a British citizen, so evacuation program is underway. I could not join, even though I have registered with the FCDO, but they just can't accept my dad and my mom as they are not British. And I will not leave them.
It is hoped that those flying to the UK tonight won't now be among the last, that there may now be time to get out every Briton who wants to get out. James Mays, News at 10, Cyprus.
Well, Raghi is in Djibouti, east of Sudan, a hub for rescue flights, of course. Raghi, the ceasefire has obviously been extended tonight by another 3 days, but I guess the question is, does it hold? But is it enough to relieve pressure on the rescue effort?
I think it does, and in three particular ways. First of all, the British government was going to have to take some fairly brutal decisions if the ceasefire was not extended. There was one decision that only British citizens were going to be allowed on planes, as opposed to people who had permission to live in Britain, so-called independent, indefinite leave to remain visa holders. So that was a fairly brutal decision that the Foreign Secretary was contemplating once the ceasefire had not been extended. So it gives a breathing space for Britain to take much more than just purely British passport holders, but people who have got the permission to live in Britain. Secondly, it also just gives the ability for the extension of another sort of ceasefire. Politically, once you've had one ceasefire and now it's gone to a second ceasefire, well, there is the diplomatic possibility that if everyone who is British passport holders and citizens and people who can live there have not been brought out, this could be extended. So I think on the whole, it gives political space for everyone to be able to agree a situation where this could be ended properly?